All right, Zoo Crew, it's day 12 of 90. I know yesterday I said it was day 10. That's my mistake. I counted the days wrong again. Yesterday was day 11. Okay, today is day 12, and it's been one hell of a day. So let's start with it is a new month, right? So I take it as new beginnings, but it is also the last month of the year. So it is like the ending of cycles as well. And I guess the universe thought it'd be fun to like test my patience today. So I woke up, no heating, no hot water, and then like the builders came, they looked at it and they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll bring a plumber." And the plumber came, and then like, yeah. So the first half of my day spent dealing with that, and it is what it is. Real estate life. I would have been annoyed prior, but like it is what it is. I guess it's annoying because it's like I've only been here for 12 days, and this is like the third or fourth time I've had an issue with this, right? So when I first moved in, there was some issue with like the water heater, so I didn't have hot water or heating unless I went and like unplugged it every like few hours, and then they sent somebody, they fixed it, and then like today this happened. So yeah, it is what it is. I have heat now, I have hot water, apparently, but there'll be more plumbers here tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. And then yeah, I decided, okay, well, let me go and like see my parents. It's been a while, and like I'm feeling pretty stable and like centered. Let me just go and like open the door. Let's see what happens. So I sat them both down. I told them like, "Well, look, like let's talk." And then one thing led to another, and I pretty much got pulled into this old cycle and pattern where I became like the parent and they became the children. And I was kind of just dealing with their emotions, and they kept getting stuck in this cycle where they're like fighting each other and like attacking each other and just unaware of why they're fighting, or. And I tried to make them understand, and I'm like, yo, look, like hate is the opposite of love. So if somebody hates you, it's because they love you. Like if there was indifference, then yeah, I'd be worried. But clearly you guys care about each other, or at least I would assume. And then yeah, I mean, they just kept getting pulled into this fight, and it just kept like the same thing over and over again. And I realized like, okay, there's no point for me to like waste my time. And this is my like own people pleasing, I guess, taking over, because I went there with a different intention, and then like spent like 3 hours dealing with their problems instead of why I went there, right? And then when we did get to what I wanted to discuss, it didn't really go anywhere, you know. So yeah, essentially I was debating, I was considering it. I went back and I was gonna be like, look, um, you guys offered to help, and I'm like at a place now where I'm open to discussing, and like if you guys actually want to help, and like no strings attached, and like without the control and the mind games and the manipulation, like let's talk. But yeah, it literally didn't go anywhere because like my dad cannot like be honest or tell the truth. I guess he's afraid of the truth because it would shatter his whole identity and like his ego, because it's all pretty much non-existent, right? And I'm at a point now where I've pretty much decided like I have nothing to do with my dad anymore. He can take his money with him to the grave, and I doubt I'll ever forgive him. As for my mom, like I forgive her, and I understand a lot of kind of where she's coming from or why she's like behaving the way she is. And it's all just like fear, survival, fight or flight. And yeah, really it's just fear of I guess being alone, fear of like financial insecurity, plus like she's been with him like his whole life, like her whole life. And then God knows what other fears. Um Yeah, but I think the thing like she realized was, because I asked her, I was like, Look, like, do you want me to live a life like yours?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Well, that's the point. Like, if I keep it, like, if I stay here, or like, if I keep getting pulled into this cycle, or if I keep like hoping that one day he's gonna change, my life will end up like yours. And I pretty much just saw like the whole future. So had I not like gone through all of this, like restarting my life, cutting ties, breaking away from fear, like I would have ended up like them. And like today was the first day like I saw my dad like for the reality of who he is. Not like, and like I didn't like, I wasn't afraid. Normally I would be afraid, and today was the first time like my inner voice was louder than his voice. So yeah, I mean, I finally overcame my fear of him, I guess. And I guess it's because like now that I'm at a point where it's like, yeah, I don't want or need anything from you. Like I can see who you are as a person. And what I realized is he's just like a weak, pathetic man. Very insecure, very dishonest. And honestly, I think it's just lack of discipline, like no discipline, you know? Whether that's over like his emotions, whether that's over his like desires, um, whether that's even like his health, you know, like always looking for shortcuts, always trying to cheat the system, always trying to game the system. And that's just how his personality is, you know. And like this whole time, like I went there like giving him an opportunity to like build a relationship, and like he just didn't want, like he just I guess his he doesn't have the capacity to understand or the willingness to understand, you know. And it's sad, but it is what it is. But like I'm glad I'm at a point now where I don't need to seek out his approval or validation, and like I'm understanding like he'd never be able to give it to me because he doesn't know who he is himself, you know. Like if you remove money from the equation, like he's nothing. Like he has no friends, no family, like his kids don't like him, like his own siblings don't like him. Like there's literally like he has nothing except for money, you know. And that became his whole identity, and he used that to like control people and manipulate people. And then like my mom, myself, his friends, his siblings, like are all so afraid of him and like dependent on him financially that like their fear or like their desire for comfort was stronger than confronting him. And because of that, like they all enabled him, and like I'm the one stuck carrying this like emotional and like spiritual consequences of these people, you know. And like I guess it bothers me because my dad's side of the family pretends like they're all like these very pious, righteous, like good religious people, but like they're all hypocrites, man. Like they witnessed all of this going on, they were aware of this, and like they didn't have the courage to like do the right thing, you know, and like confront their brother or like my dad and be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is not right. And it was their own comfort. And like my grandmother's, like my dad's mom knew about all of this, like all of his siblings, they were all aware of this, you know, and like they were all just using him and playing the game. And like he's still like unaware of how much he was being manipulated or like by people, you know. And he just like his whole identity and I guess validation came from like the money and like supporting people, and that's why he's so like spiritually dead and empty inside. Same with like his siblings, like his whole family, you know. um yeah, so I'm very disappointed, I guess, in all of these people. um Initially I was angry, but like the anger has passed, and it's just like I just feel bad and like sorry for these people. And it's like I guess at the same time I'm kind of like questioning myself, like what was I expecting like from these people, you know. Like they're all weak, pathetic, like insecure little hypocrites. Like what am I expecting them to do? Like that's this is who they are. This is how they will behave, you know? So yeah, I don't think I'll ever forgive my dad, especially because like this whole game he started, like he essentially like saw he was losing control over me, and that like having Mina in my life was actually making me independent. And I guess part of him like saw the relationship that I had with Mina and like felt jealous that he didn't have that with his wife, even though like he never tried to cultivate that. And then I guess that's kind of why like he decided to destabilize my relationship. And then again, like never really helped, or like was just kind of there on the side, creating issues or like planting seeds in my head. And yeah, I will never forgive him for destabilizing my life, you know? And then still like having the audacity to be like, oh, I love you. Everything I made is for you. All of my money is for you. And like playing all these games, you know, like, and I didn't let him like play these games too much today because like I was just very calm, direct, and like I would say something and he would try and run around like circle the question, and I would just keep coming back to the same thing. And like I forced him to sit in this, and I was pretty like firm with him, you know. Like obviously I'm not that harsh with like my mom, um, and like he's a man, you know, like so. And then that's the other thing that pissed me off is like, oh, like, why are you so angry? Like, why are you blaming me for all of this? Like, why are you like getting angry at me? And it's like, dude, I'm not like, I'm angry because your first reaction was to blame Mina for like all of this shit, you know? Like, if I'm angry at you, it's like you understand why I'm angry at you. Take some responsibility, take some accountability for like all of the 33 years of abuse you put me through, you know? Instead of like blaming somebody else or being like, oh, I'm not a bad person, or like coming up with all of this like bullshit excuses, you know? And like it's fucked, especially because like I tried to explain this to him, and he was like, no, like you were just a bad person, that's why I beat you up more than I beat up your younger sister. And I'm like, no, dude, literally maybe 20% of the time, sure, I was being disrespectful or like not behaving or like needed to be disciplined. 80% of the time though, like you would get triggered and then not be able to control your emotions and then just find the closest target, so whether that was my mom, my older sister, or me, and then boom, like beat us up until you like regulated your own emotions. And like that never happened, even to now, like it never happened. So like he said something, my mom felt attacked, and then she like started to go off, and like I told him like, yo, look, like whatever she's saying, like let her say it, do not reply, and like do not like maintain your composure, like be a man, you know? And within 10 seconds he started blowing up, and I was like, there you go, there's your proof, right? Like you can't control your emotions, you don't know what you're doing, like you're not in your senses. So like now you're arguing with me trying to convince me, but really you're trying to convince yourself you're not a bad person, or you beat me up for the right reasons. The reality is you did it on emotions, and like until you can accept the reality, like you're going to keep living in this loop, right? And that's what I realized. Like he doesn't want to understand, or he decides not to, or I guess it's all because like once he accepts the truth, like his identity shatters. So his subconscious is like not allowing him to do that, you know? And you can't have a relationship or like build a life with somebody like that, you know? It's like, dude, it's like it's gonna happen. Like you're gonna hurt people. People make mistakes. People are human, right? And like I'm not saying like be perfect. I'm saying, look, like if you hurt somebody, just own up to it and be like, yo, look, I hurt you. I'm sorry I hurt you. I understand like this action I took made you feel like this, and like I hurt you in this way. This is how I'm gonna change my behavior, and this is how I'm gonna make sure I don't hurt you again, you know? Like it's not that complicated. I guess it is like harder to do, like easier said than done, right? But like you have to do it. Like you can't just keep making excuses or blaming people. And like that's what I realized today. It was like he's just gonna keep like giving me excuses, keep blaming people. Like he's never gonna change. So like I'm done with this conversation, you know. And then like I kept getting pulled into their whole like relationship drama and like conflict. And I was like, look, like, I'm not carrying this load for you guys anymore, you know. Y'all deal with it yourself. You want to be together, be together. You want to be together, don't be together. Like it's, you know, like you guys stayed together thinking like, oh, if we like get divorced, the kids are gonna suffer. And I'm like, yo, listen, like we already suffered either way, like, you know. And then they're like, oh yeah, but like you, at least you didn't suffer financially. I'm like, you think that's more important? Like I would rather have suffered financially and had health and mental health, you know. Like you guys are so twisted and like obsessed with money. Like money became their god or like their idol, you know. And I probably would have ended up like them or down that same path. So I'm glad that I broke out of this cycle and like trying to like break out of this cycle, you know? And I get it, like they're just human, and like nobody knows really what they're doing. Like people are just figuring it out, but it's like cool, you guys chose this life for yourself, but I'm not choosing to live this way, you know? Like you guys are just like existing, you're not really alive. Like I don't want to have a life like that, you know? And yeah, fuck, it's been one hell of a day, you know, and like I'm still processing all of this. And if this was me like from a month ago or 2 months ago, my first thought would have been to call Mina and like dump all of this on her. But like I've grown now, right? And I'm realizing like I can't do that. Like it's not fair to her. And first of all, like it's not attractive. Like I'm showing like I'm not stable, or like I can't deal with my own emotions. So like how can she come to me with her emotions, you know? And then outside of that, it's like, cool, even if I told her all of this, like, what can she do? Like, she can't change my parents, you know? Um, so there's no point. And it was like, I wanted to tell her just because, like, I was going through a lot of stuff and I wanted to, like, feel like I have some kind of connection to somebody. But again, like, I have to learn to regulate my own emotions and, like, process this shit my own way. Otherwise, like, I would literally end up like my dad, you know? So yeah, in that sense, like I saw my future today of like if I didn't change, this is what my life would have been, you know? And like um Yeah, and that's it's a very scary thing. It's like either like I become my dad or I live a life of like fear like my mom, you know? And I guess really both of them are letting fear control them, but like that's like a whole other topic. Like if I was to dissect everything they're afraid of and how fear is controlling them, you know? And it's been a long ass day, and at least the heating is working. Like I can feel the sweat on my forehead, you know? You guys are seeing me wipe my forehead but a bunch. But they're gonna be here tomorrow again to like make sure the heating in the hot water is working, right? So yeah, I mean, all in all, it's been a fucking weird day. Um, but uh, the lesson in all of this, I guess, is stay calm, stay centered, breathe. Don't let life's up and down sway you. You know, don't be swayed by emotions. I guess we'll leave it on this metaphor of like the heartbeat, you know? So when they're monitoring a heartbeat, it's going up and down, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down. But when you see it's just a flat line, it means they're dead. So life is the same way, right? If there's no up and down, it means you're dead. So, um, yeah, don't let like external shit sway you. You got to be strong from inside. And yeah, it's been a weird ass day, you know? Like, um, yeah. I guess really like what I'm realizing is no, forget that actually. Like we're gonna end this video. But the thing is, like, if you're watching this video or like you've watched this playlist and like or you're going through something similar, like I hope you find the strength to or like the courage to face your fears before your fears destroy your life, right? Had I had the courage to like do this, Mina would probably still be here, and it took me losing her to like realize all of this and then to like understand how big of a blessing she was in my life, you know? And I don't know if she's ever gonna come back. Um, and like it's on me. But yeah, so I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. Like, you know, face your fears before they cost you your life or your future. Um, you know, it's, yeah, I think let's end it on that. This is day 12. I will see you guys tomorrow, Zoo Crew.